Welcome everyone to today's session on the third and final level of our AI literacy course for teachers. The number of times I've said that this past couple weeks, hopefully it's rolling off my tongue now. But yeah, happy to talk with you all today about first some icebreaking news as always, but then I'll briefly go through the certification contents. Of course, we won't talk about absolutely everything in this call. But yeah, and then I'll kind of touch on implementation, how we kind of imagine this being used by teachers. And then we'll have some time for you all to share your feedback if you've already played around with it. If you haven't, no worries. If there's anything that you think could like improve the courses as a whole, would love to hear that. But of course, feel free to chat or feel free to email me afterwards if you don't want to talk about it live. Interesting. Google is, sorry, the Google Meets recording was giving me a strange warning, but I think we're okay. Yeah, as always, the recording for this session will be available later. Anyone on this call will get it directly in their email once it's posted. Yeah, and questions are welcome at any time. Feel free to throw them in the chat or feel free to just like unmute, yell at me, whatever needs to happen. Great, awesome. So I'll jump into some icebreaking news. Today, I wanted to highlight this New York Times article about the new school group, Alpha Schools. I don't know if you guys have heard of them, but their whole concept is that the students basically get knowledge acquisition just using AI. And then the teachers in the schools are actually called guides. And the guides help with the students' like individual learning journeys. It's not really like subject matter teachers and everything. Yeah. Oh yeah. Colin was saying a message popped up that you stopped recording. Yeah, I was trying to use the Google recording, but for some reason it was telling me that it was going to kick people out if I started that. So it's okay. I have a backup recording. We should be good. I see it's live right now. So, but yeah, thank you, Colin. But yeah, so yeah, this school group is using AI as like their main method of actually teaching students, and I thought it was very interesting. And the news, I guess, right now is that they're actually expanding to a bunch of different states now. I think they're opening 12 new schools across the US. Yeah, so it might just be like an interesting time for schools as they're seeing like other schools like this pop up. Like, what are parents thinking about? What are students thinking about? They offer like a lot of different sides of how people are viewing this like format of learning. So it's a pretty cool article. Would highly recommend you all checking it out afterwards. But yeah, any thoughts from people who have maybe like heard about this approach or school? I feel like they were like in the news a decent bit, but it was like a couple months ago. Cool. If not, all good. Yeah, just thought that would be cool to bring to everyone's radar. But yeah, I'll go ahead and cover the certification contents now. So as always, yeah, the course is available at this link. Let me also get it up for anyone in case they haven't seen it yet. This page is actually just a overview of what the course covers. The course itself is hosted in our community platform, but yeah, you can get there by clicking the enroll now there. And yeah, so level 3, as opposed to the first 2 levels, is solely focused on Flint actually. So the first 2 levels, if you all haven't seen it yet, are foundational AI literacy and advanced AI literacy. So they're a bit more broad, a bit more like covering AI as a whole, what that means for education. And then level 3 is showing teachers how to actually use Flint in various different methods, like how to use the chats, how to use the activities, different navigation and implementation tips as well are covered in there. And then finally, we have in 3.5 a Flint capstone project. Basically because our team gets asked a lot, like, what are the tips that I need to know to use this in science? Or like, what are the like things I must know for English? And there are some things, I guess, we could cover it like in depth, but I don't think that would like be good content for a course that's like trying to make it available to everyone, you know? So we figured like these campfire sessions are more like those subject specific or topic specific kind of trainings. And then we wanted this course to be a overarching, like, what do you need to know to get started? And all that to say, the fifth one is a capstone project where we encourage the teachers to actually build an activity and reflect on that process and like think about like what could be better, how can I like actually test this out with students, that sort of iterative design and reflection process. So even though that's like of course not required to get the certificate, I would also highly recommend any teachers to do that and share your thoughts with us. And yeah, we just might feature you all on our website or social media. So also like a good way to get the word out to see like what everyone's thinking about, what everyone's creating there. Yeah, any questions about the content specifically? Awesome. And then, so mostly today I wanted to kind of talk about what implementation can look like. Oops, sorry, that should say level 3. But yeah, this level is a bit different. I feel like it actually has like a lot more exploration built into it. If you've seen the videos at the end of every video, I'm like, please go try it out, because that will be like the easiest way for teachers to really get the hang of actually using it. So yeah, I would say like most lessons take the actual like lesson part of it take like 10 to 15 minutes, but then we would encourage people to actually play around in Flint for like at least 5 to 10 minutes after that. So it might take like an hour to an hour 30 to even like 2 hours if teachers are like really getting into the weeds of like actually testing it, which honestly I think is just as good of a learning journey as actually going through the content itself. So yeah, that's like kind of what the structure looks like. And of course, this also may vary based on your existing knowledge about Flint. If you've already like used chats and used some activities with students, you could probably breeze through the content in just like 30 minutes, take the quiz, get the certification. But yeah, if teachers are like just getting started, they have no idea what Flint is, they were just told that this is something that the school bought that they should try out, then it might take them a little bit longer to go through the content and truly understand the structure and how everything fits into place. Yeah, any questions about timeline? Suggested timeline? Great. And then one of the updates that we made with like rolling out this last level is for all of the levels, except for like the quizzes, I guess, and all of the lessons within those levels, we've created activities in Flint that teachers can actually go and try out and start using. So I can show you all what that kind of looks like really quickly. Okay. Yeah, so when you're going through one of the levels and you're in one of the lessons, at the very bottom, we have this Flint practice activity. And each of these is different based on what the level is or what the lesson is covering. But when the teachers click try out this activity, it'll open the template in a new tab, and then they can actually duplicate this activity, add it to their arsenal of activities, and start using it. So from here, they would click duplicate, just add it to their home or in a group if they want, and then they can actually start using this activity as if they were a student. And from what we've seen, like this sort of just general exploration in Flint has been really helpful for people. And also like using Flint as a student first and then taking it from the teacher lens definitely makes sense as well. So yeah, I know we had these practice activities in the student AI literacy course, and a lot of people really enjoyed those. So we figured, yeah, why not bring it to the teacher course as well? So yes, that is one of the updates. Yeah, go ahead, Colin.
Yeah, I was wondering, we have probably just over 100 faculty at our school who we will be definitely putting through a couple of these units. And I'm just wondering about the fact that every time they then click on a Flint activity, it's going to create their own copy in either the workspace or in a group. And I'm wondering, is there a way, I don't know if this is possible, so we as a school could create duplicate those and then enroll the teachers in that and have them go and do it there. That way the tech department could keep track of who's done it and how they've done it and maybe what kind of questions they've asked rather than the link. But I can't figure out, other than telling them don't click that link there, instead go to Flint. I don't know if you guys have any suggestions of ways that can easily get them to jump to our own school's versions of those rather than, because some of them won't pay attention and they'll just click your version and then we'll end up with 50 versions of that activity in our workspace.
Yeah, that's a good question. Unfortunately, there's like no magic link to bring them to like that one in their workspace. But yeah, I would highly recommend like creating a group and then putting all of those activities in that group and then maybe just like adding that group or adding all of your faculty into that group so that it shows up on their sidebar. And then they'll see like, oh, at least like this is in Flint and like I should go there. But then it might just be a matter of like communicating with them, saying like, hey, don't make your own. We've already made it for you, and you can go there and try it out.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see how it goes.
Thanks. Yeah. If you think of any better ideas of how to manage that, let me know, and I can always like edit the course content also.
One other option too is that you could even go through maybe your like creating a Google Classroom that would be specific towards it and just copying and pasting some of the content in. It would be a little bit more work up front, but that way it would be an environment that you would completely own. And then you could have that link that is customized to your specific route. I know that you could also probably do something like that in Canvas too. Again, I know that's some additional work, but if the content's already there and it's just trying to make it ease of access and monitoring, that could be a simple solution there.
Right. So you guys would be okay if we took your YouTube videos that introduce each unit, embed them into our own learning, because I could create a learning management course with these units and then just copy and paste the text into our own LMS, and then that we could have our own links.
Yep.
Yeah. And then yeah, and then feel free to just like copy the responder link for the quizzes if the teacher has certifications.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we'll still see like who's doing what, you know.
Great. All right, thanks.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Stephen's asking, might it be better to create groups by subject area or grade levels? Because you all are at PK through 12 school. Yeah, could you elaborate a bit more on that? Like, do you mean like for managing like which teachers are trying out the activities or?
And a couple of, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Wait,
So a couple of things going on. We have teachers that will be in sort of launch sessions where they will actually be all teachers pre-K 12 in the same room at the same time. That's our kickoff. And those are vastly different experiences. And if we created even different activities for them to do, like it just seems like it would be good for them to be able to work within their own room, as well as at the same time teaching them how to create rooms.
Yeah, I really like that idea, especially if you want to take like any of the content from the course and like plug that into an activity, but then specialize it for like, hey, here we're like talking with just like the lower school teachers and here it's like the upper school teachers and like try and like cater the content that way. That'd be really cool. Yeah. And of course, like the activities that we've made, some of them are a bit like more targeted on a specific aspect of the lesson. Some of them are like covering the lesson as a whole more so. So you could also like just create other kinds of activities. Like maybe one lesson could actually use like 2 or 3 activities. But yeah, we kind of view it as a starting point and like feel free to like make your own thing and show us what you do. And like if it's really good, we can also put it back into the course for everyone else too.
Okay, and if it's awful, I just won't tell anybody anything.
Okay,
I'll pretend it never happened.
Yeah, thanks for that. That's a really cool suggestion, actually. Great, yeah. Yeah, so honestly, yeah, like I kind of said, we view this as like a starting point. I think every school will kind of, want to implement Flint in a different way, want to like emphasize different use cases differently also. So yeah, we kind of view this as like the starting point for where teachers like just need to get on the same page about what Flint is, the terminology, like how to actually create an activity or a group. So that's all covered in this content, but I'm sure there's like more work should be done after that. And yeah, we look forward to hearing from you all like what that journey looks like, and maybe there's like more like sorts of materials that our team can also put out that helps further along in that journey as well. Cool. Okay. Right. So I have some more numbers. Yay. So I think like for this like specific Flint AI literacy part, these are just like some tips I wrote down. Honestly, a lot of it came from our session from last week about running a PD session with Flint. But essentially with this course, I think you could do like 2 to 3 sessions, like between like 30 minutes to an hour each, depending on how much time you want to give attendees time to just like play around in Flint. I think like covering the content probably shouldn't take more than like 20 minutes, but yeah, sometimes like it's just good to like have that set time built into your sessions where it's like, hey, maybe get together with your department and like try making some activities. Or you could even like put people in like from like completely different departments together and then have them try out activities together, like offer different perspectives. But essentially they're like, yeah, the idea is to like give people time to play around, but also like don't overwhelm them with too much. This is like something that I personally did and like found that it was not good when I was first running trainings for Flint. I would like try and like give them all of the technical details, and then people would be like, wait, okay, where do I start? So kind of like making sure that, you know, maybe you just like start off with chats, and then once people understand that, then like, okay, here's what activities are, and then like here's what groups are. So kind of like the way that we've set up the lessons in this level, I think that would be like a good approach to like how to piecemeal it for everyone. But yeah, of course, like it will also depend on your school. I know some schools like have most of their faculty already actively like using a lot of different chatbots, then like they might not need an in-depth coverage of what Flint chats do. But then there might also be schools that, you know, have kind of strayed away from AI entirely, and like now they're wanting to dig into it. So then you might want to like talk about like what does, you know, good communication in a chat look like, and like what are the capabilities within the chat also. Yeah, and then I think also this course is like good for async training anytime during the school year. I understand like we're at the beginning right now, so people are thinking about like the big group faculty PDs. But yeah, if like a couple teachers fall through the cracks, or like a couple teachers like later on, a couple months from now or something, realize like, oh, I remember we did something with that, but like I don't remember how to use it anymore. This could be like a good resource to send to them as a refresher of, you know, how to get started in Flint and what are the different opportunities for using Flint in their classrooms. Great. And then my final tip there is just like having experienced teachers share what they've been doing also. Yeah, it's great to have like teachers just teach other teachers, and that's like from what we've seen what resonates most with everyone. So would highly recommend also doing that. Yeah. Okay. John is saying that he needs to know more about AI and Flint in particular, not as an administrator. Any suggestions for more basic personal understanding? Yeah.
I just connected him underneath in the chat, so we're good there.
Okay, awesome.
And then one thing to just add as a kind of another piece. So hi, everybody. My name is Jacob. I'm head of customer success with Flint. I've been doing a lot of the onboarding, especially for newer groups. One thing that I would definitely like to call out, especially from some conversations that I've had previously, is, you know, there's a push to do some PD, but there's so many different types of PD to do right before the start of the school year. I think Lulu called it out perfectly. Don't feel like you have to give them every single piece of detail. This, I think, is that perfect way of getting that content to those individuals. My suggestion is to have it be a very fun, laid back, creative space, because oftentimes the more teachers are going to have questions, the more they're going to realize what Flint is capable of doing. And the nice thing, kind of like what Colin was throwing out of, like, I would like to track every single step. Even if you don't track every single step, you could say, hey, you have to submit your certificate by blank date when we're having an additional PD on Flint, and then it becomes a flipped classroom. So there's lots of different ways to go about this. And again, I think Lulu's done a great job of highlighting that there's a lot of flexibility that you can do and throwing out those suggestions. But just want to highlight that there's several different ways, and it could be a hybrid too, where you start out with just a brief intro, learn about it a little bit more on your own, come back, but you have to have this certificate ready by blank time. And I think that that could be a really good approach as well.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, exactly what Jacob kind of touched on. Yeah, the next slide is like, you know, just goals to keep in mind as you're trying to roll out this final level of the course. Yeah, truly, like, PD about Flint is like really just inspiring people to explore and be curious. They don't have to be Flint experts. And honestly, for better or for worse, Flint is changing so quickly, so often that they probably wouldn't be Flint experts for very long. Just as it is with the AI space, I guess this is just the world we live in right now. But yeah, so like using Flint as a common space to share and collaborate how people are using AI in their pedagogy, in their own learning, however that might look like, is kind of the goal here. Like, I think I mentioned this in one of the videos, but yeah, you really want to just like inspire people to be curious, and then also have Flint as a tool for like a common language that you and your faculty can talk about AI with, and how that actually can be implemented and leveraged for bettering student outcomes. Yeah. Okay. That was actually all that I had. We can dive into like more specific details if you guys want, or we can like go ahead and cover like what sorts of feedback you all have. But yeah, any questions about the course itself, I guess, first off? Yeah, Nathan?
Hi, Lulu. So interesting one. When I was doing the level 3 course earlier, and I put this on LinkedIn as well, it was really, really good at just outlining exactly what this platform does and what is different to other AI. And actually, I was feeling as I was going through it that for some colleagues that I have that don't necessarily need to know all of the background of how AI works in general, but do need a quick, 1 hour onboarding on Flint specifically, it would almost work really nicely as a standalone. But I don't know how that works in terms of, obviously it's the third level intended to follow the first 2 packages of training. It might be a question to ask in a more closed session, but I thought I'd throw that out there and see what your thoughts were.
Oh, no, yeah, you're good. Actually, we kind of designed it where here, I think from here you can kind of see like you don't have to complete level 1 to get to level 2 or level 3. And we're not really policing like the certificates of like, oh, you need levels 1 and 2 certificates before you get level 3. It is a bit unintuitive that we've named them levels as if it's like a progression. But all that to say, I would totally just recommend you telling your teachers like, hey, you can just go take level 3 if you feel like that's all you need. But yeah, maybe just like highlighting like, hey, levels 1 and 2 are really good if you want to understand more about AI as a whole. But specifically to Flint, like just level 3, you can just take it on its own. You can just take the quiz too, and it'll just send like that certificate.
Yeah, I was sort of thinking sort of in terms of the lowest possible barrier to entry. Level 3 almost sets them up perfectly to use Flint itself. And then I know that there's probably 50% of teachers that would go ahead and do levels 1 and 2 in their own time, in order to get the certificates and the badges. So yeah, an interesting one to keep talking about, I think, but just thought I'd mention that here.
Yeah. I'm actually not entirely sure, but you might be able to like just send them the link to lesson 3.1. Maybe that works. Maybe it doesn't. But
we can have a play.
Yeah, hopefully we can like figure out something where we can like get them to that starting point. But yeah. Yes, and Stephen's asking, I already have teachers who are asking for specific strategies for creating tools and monitoring students to protect academic integrity and stop misuse? Is there an activity already developed? Ah, I see. I think I've seen some activities specifically around like how to cite AI. There was one school, the Wesleyan school, I think, that they created a guide on how they want like their AI citations to look. And so they created an activity based on that so that the students could like practice and like actually see what that looks like in Flint. Um, yeah, I don't know if I've seen any like specifically about like, you know, scaffolding activities so that they're like harder to use AI in a misused way for, but that could be a really cool conversation to continue later on. So like if you want to chat about it, just let me know and we can meet one-on-one or like share out how that conversation goes in the community too.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, today might be a short session. Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, Jacob seems to have gotten the link to work. I feel like that was what I copied, but for some reason it did not paste that way. Awesome. Cool. Yes, let me move on to this next slide. But essentially, if anyone has any feedback that they want to share about the like this level of the AI literacy course or any of the other ones, we have some time here. Feel free to like share what your thoughts are. And of course, like if things come up later, if you haven't yet tried out the course, you can like leave comments on the course. I'll like get notifications for that. Or you can email me directly. It's just lulu@flintk12.com. I know a lot of you have already done that, so very thankful for that. And yeah, we'll like keep improving it, keep adding to it as we see people using it and like what might be missing or like what might be confusing. Great. Yeah, and I guess like something specifically for this like process of feedback. I know, I think last week, a lot of people were saying like, oh wait, I didn't get the certificate. And what I realized was that um, this is kind of on me. I set it up in a way that made it really confusing, but because we embedded the quiz, the submit button was at the bottom there, but there's also the button that says like complete this lesson. So people were like completing the lesson without submitting the quiz, and then that meant that we didn't get the responses on our end, so we couldn't send the certificate. All that to say, I changed it now so that there's just like a button that takes you to the quiz and a new tab so that it's much more clear at the end of the quiz. There's just one button to click and they can just click submit and then they can go back to the course and like do the next level. But yeah, so like even like little things like that, it's really helpful to hear from you all what the experience is like so that we can fix things on our end. Great. Cool. I will hang out for a little bit. If anyone has like specific things that they want to talk about or specific questions. But really quickly to wrap up, all recordings will be posted on our website. There's like this webinars link, but again, everyone here will get the recording in their inbox. And yeah, just some QR codes for everyone who might be new. We have the Campfire calendar here, which is where you can like subscribe and like find out about the next sessions that we're doing. Though I do think if you ended up here, you're probably already subscribed because when you sign up for one, it subscribes you too. We do have a new Instagram. That's where we're going to be posting more information for teachers specifically. Like our LinkedIn and Twitter and everything is more geared towards the admin side of things. But the Instagram, we're trying to make it like more of a teacher space and like going to put in some teaching tips and some inspirational pieces like how other teachers are using Flint. So that might be cool to follow. And then the community is where the course is actually hosted and also where we've kind of created this like forum Q&A mesh of environment where we're trying to gather like a lot of the Flint users across the globe and just have this space for everyone to like ask each other questions, brainstorm together, share what you're doing. So yeah, would love to see you all join there as well. Cool. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, you're free to go now. Continue on with your week. But yeah, if anyone has questions and wants to hang back, I'll be here for a little bit. Yeah, go ahead, Don.
Go ahead, Don.
Hey, you two. How you doing?
Hey.
I was just curious. I'm going to be using Flint. I'm using the free version. I know I've told you, Lulu, that we've got a policy committee that I'm on that we're going to be working on over the course of this year. But I was just wondering, Jacob, because I think you're kind of connected with sales, is there just like some generic, like if you have 100 kids at your school or 250 kids at your school and 100 teachers, is there just like a place on Flint where I could just see what the numbers are, just to have an idea? Because I think Howard made it sound like it was quite affordable.
Yes, there definitely is a spot, and I would argue very affordable, especially when you think about the fact that it's not only your AI tool, it's a tutoring tool as well available to the school. It's all encompassing, a lot of different things in one. So in terms of our pricing, we do have it on our website, and I'm just copying and pasting and putting it over in the chat right now.
Great.
And then if you'd like, I can also, so I've already passed along John's contact information over to Xander, who's more of runs our sales team. I could do the same as well if you'd want to pass along your email within here. I can connect you with Xander and we can go from there as well.
Yeah, I'll do that. I mean, I'm not in charge. I'm not.
Trust me, I get that. Yeah, but it might be a way to start that conversation to go, okay, now Xander, I need you to talk with these individuals, and then we can start to link that conversation together.
Great. Thanks, you too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just sent it to you.
You just sent it?
Well, I put it in the group.
Yep, got it now. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right on.